Honey, where are my boxers? During a live stream, my celebrity husband walks out from behind me, totally shirtless, asking for his boxers. The comments section went dead silent. I was frozen. The internet exploded. After work, I rushed home. As soon as I got there, I didn't bother washing up. I went straight to the dressing table and started the live stream. It was a warm-up for my birthday fan meet, and fans were already waiting. I was removing my makeup and chatting with fans in the comments. Yeah, I just got off work and came home. My new show is about to air, please show your support. Comments were rolling in super fast. Amid all the praise and admiration, I spotted a different comment. Is there someone in the room behind you, babe? I acted calm, but my heart was racing with guilt. I glanced at the bathroom behind me. Warm yellow light seeped through the frosted glass door, with a shadow vaguely visible inside. I panicked, but luckily, the comment was quickly buried and not many noticed. I was so nervous because I'm not the only one in the apartment. And that other person is most likely my secret spouse. The current top male star, Tim. Calling Tim the hottest male star right now isn't an exaggeration. Even grandma at 80 or a kid at 8 can name 2 of his movies. I'm the opposite, known as a pretty face in showbiz. I'm popular but criticized for lacking talent. Even grandma at 80 or a kid at 8 could say a few words about me. Early in our marriage, our agents considered making our relationship public to boost my image. But once it was announced that Tim and I would be interviewed together, our Facebook pages and studio sites were flooded. Most from his side were fangirl sobs. My pages were filled with insults and sarcasm. Things like she's a pretty face, but you can't deny her looks, bombarded me like endless snow. The interview was scrapped. We hoped my image would improve before making our relationship public. Thinking of this, I discreetly blocked Tim from view. But my right hand reached for my phone. I texted Tim. You home? Is that you in the bathroom? After a bit, he replied. Tim, yeah, it's me. Me, don't come out and don't move. You hear me? Tim, are you saying I shouldn't move the top part or the bottom part? I ignored Tim's flirty comment and just told him to stay put in the bathroom. A while later, I checked my phone again, still no reply from him. A silent husband is usually up to something. I had a bad feeling. Then came a bang, the bathroom door flung open. Tim's voice followed, filled with amusement. Honey, where are my boxers? I was frozen solid, turning stiffly to look. Tim stood there, shirtless, with only a towel around his waist. Wet hair dripped water down his collarbone and onto his impressive abs. I suddenly felt my throat dry, instinctively swallowing hard. The comments section went quiet for a moment. Then the comments rolled crazily, visible even from a distance. That night, the trending topics were ablaze. Too many people joined the stream, causing it to crash. After the stream ended, our agents called quickly. They suggested waiting for them to come over to discuss a plan. My agent advised me over the phone. Don't focus on the internet too much. If you can't help it, hand your phone to Tim. Her words only made me more curious, so I logged into my low-profile account. It took a good 5 minutes to see the hot topics list. Sandy and Tim, Tim's secret marriage were all over the trending list. Top of the list was Tim Boxers, holding the #1 spot firmly. It showed how much the internet loved the drama. Just as I was about to dive in deeper, Tim pulled me close, wrapping me in a hug. He snatched the phone from my hand, burying his damp hair in my neck. Honey, don't be mad. It wasn't on purpose, I swear. I snorted. I told you not to come out, and look what you did. Before I could finish, the doorbell rang. I was just about to get up when Tim yelled, Boxers. Honey. I got mad and walked to the wardrobe, tossing boxers at him one by one. Here's your boxers. Wear them. I marched to the door, ignoring his cries. Honey, the boxers are on my head. Tim's agent came in, giving him a light smack on the back. "You went out like that, and look what happened." My agent, Wendy, kept quiet, but it was clear she wasn't pleased. Tim knew he messed up, so he didn't dare speak. I, on the other hand, was in a great mood. Without wasting time, our agents got to work on fixing things. Originally, we wanted you two to play a couple, but the reaction wasn't great. Now could be a good time to go public. Tim's agent handed over a proposal. This show wants you two to guest star for an episode. It'd boost the show's ratings and give your fans time to adjust. Wendy chimed in, "I checked out the show, it's pretty good. Also, I'll move your birthday meet to tomorrow with a press segment. During the event, announce you'll both guest star on the show." Tim raised his hands quickly, agreeing. "Sounds good to me." His agent added, "I'm on board." Wendy said, "I see no problem with it." Tim went back to filming the next day. When I got to the press event, there were way more journalists than planned. Wendy pointed out the window. "Since yesterday's news, big-name journalists who used to ignore us are now calling non-stop." She shook her head with a chuckle. I said nothing, just asked the driver to head in quicker. At the event, paparazzi aimed their cameras at the stage. Tim was unreachable, busy on set. They were eager to get some scoop from me, buzzing with excitement. Meanwhile, fans avoided the topic, focusing solely on celebrating. A wave of guilt washed over me. When it was time for questions, journalists surged forward. "Right now, the internet is buzzing about you and Tim. What are your thoughts? Miss Sandy, could you clarify your relationship with Tim? Are you really married to Tim? Were you deliberately hiding it from fans?" The energy among the reporters was getting more intense. They even pushed me so hard that I stumbled back a step. The staff rushed over to intervene. Inside, I couldn't help but think haha. But I kept a polite smile on my face. I really appreciate everyone's attention and totally get why you're eager. As for my relationship with Tim, we're gonna be on a show together soon. You'll find out then. That night, the show's team went ahead and made the announcement. "Welcome Sandy and Tim as our guest stars in the next episode. Stay tuned." After sharing the post, I started reading the comments. Most of the top ones were coordinated by our fans. They were perfectly synchronized, with the same format. It was pretty overwhelming. The gist was not to believe or spread rumors, just focus on supporting the ones you like. I had to scroll quite a bit to see some bystanders' comments. "Hilarious, so they're gonna be on this show together? That seals it, doesn't it?" Some people weren't in the loop and were asking for an explanation. The show Find Your Heart got popular for a couple of reasons. First, it has a great production team with innovative content. Second, it's been the birthplace of many real-life couples. This makes it easier for fans to accept and gives them an idea of how people feel to prepare the PR team. Some viewers did a deep dive and found that there have been 10 couples from the industry who were together before joining Find Your Heart. So when the producers announced that Tim and I would be joining, curiosity spiked among viewers. Everyone online was eagerly waiting for the show to air. Tim was busy filming on set. I decided to drop by. And maybe let the paparazzi grab some footage, so the gossip accounts could have material to spread. I arrived at the set late at night. To make sure they caught me, I purposely slowed my pace. When I got there, Tim was acting with Tina, the lead actress. The dim mountains were lit by a few large lights from the production team. Tina squinted towards the light and walked toward Tim in the shadows. Tim frowned, gestured with his hand, and stepped back. "Stop, stop. You're crossing into my boundary." Tina was taken aback. "What boundary?" Tim slyly but proudly explained, "Off camera, I keep a certain distance from other women. I call it my good guy range." Tina rolled her eyes, not impressed. "You made that up yourself?" Tim nodded assuredly, "Yup." I clearly saw Tina rolling her eyes, and I couldn't help but chuckle. Hearing me, Tina spotted me first and ran over. "Sandy, look at him. You're not gonna do anything?" He's got no sense of propriety. Before I could respond, Tina hooked her arm around mine, leaning on me to tattle. Also, sister, if he draws a boundary today, what if he draws one on you tomorrow? Unlike me, all I do is love my big sis. People in our circles have a general idea about our relationship, especially Tina. I playfully messed up her hair. Got it. I brought you a present, the assistant will give it to you later. Thanks, sis. Tina said, pretending to kiss me. Tim stepped in just in time to pull her away. What are you doing? She's my wife. Tina wouldn't let go and raised her eyebrows at him. So what? When sis and I were close, you didn't even exist. Tina and I both used to work under Wendy. We joined the industry together. Back then, we saved money by living together for years. She's a few years younger than me, more like a little sister. Hearing this, Tim pouted but still tried to pull her away. The director, John, couldn't find the leads and followed the noise. Ah, here's where the stars are disappearing to. He turned to me with a smile. Sandy, visiting Tim on set? I nodded. Tina quietly quipped, she might be here for me. Then she remembered something and told the director, hey, didn't you say your new show needs a female lead? How about Sandy here? Seeing as the director hadn't said anything, Tina added, she perfectly fits your needs. Looks gorgeous, a little ditzy, the kind that can wait for hours just sitting there. Just like the silly princess from your script. I face-bombed. If it weren't for her sincerity, her words would barely sound like a compliment. The director looked me over and agreed, all right, once we finalize the lead, let's discuss the plot. I quickly thanked him and made sure my assistant distributed some midnight snacks. Out here in the mountains, folks aren't too picky. The snacks were all ordered and brought up from downhill. After dinner, the director had the crew get back to work. Before leaving, Tim draped a coat over me. It's chilly in the mountains at night. Dress warmly. Steven can show you around. Or if you don't want to walk, have him take you to my room. Steven is his assistant. I nodded and nudged him playfully. Got it, now go on. The director's waiting for you. Tim started to leave, then hesitated and came back with a mysterious grin. Leaning in, he whispered, I got you a gift knowing you'd come by. The mischief in his eyes made me uneasy. With that on my mind, I wandered around a bit before asking Steven to lead me to the room. Steven handed me the key card. I swiped and opened the door. It was dim with the curtains drawn. It still smelled of Tim's cologne. I walked to the bed and opened the box. I couldn't believe my eyes. I picked up a tiny strip of fabric with 2 fingers. This barely there piece of silk lingered in the air. A silk nightie. After a shower, I eyed the nightie on the rack. Despite the internal struggle, I managed to put it on, embarrassment and all. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. Not bad, I thought. It wasn't until deep into the night that I heard the door. I was in a deep sleep but vague enough to call out to him. Tim must not have expected me awake. He paused briefly. He replied softly. Tim started showering, and my mind wandered. Remembering the nightie, my face flushed. Why cover your head like that? You could suffocate, he teased. He lifted the blanket, letting in fresh, cool air. I instinctively took a few deep breaths. I noticed the room carried a slight dampness from the steam. My eyes snapped open to see Tim in a bathrobe. The robe parted slightly, hinting at his toned abs. A soft yellow lamp by the bed highlighted Tim's dark eyes, filled with something I didn't quite grasp. I hadn't realized when my neatly placed neckline slipped open. I reached to turn off the light. But Tim was quick, pinning my hands to the bed's headboard. The bed shifted as Tim climbed in. He kissed my earlobe, and his voice wrapped around my ear, a mix of a chuckle and a question, honey? I got lost in thought. Tim is 5 years older. When we started dating, he would coax me to call him Big Brother. Seeing my mind wander, Tim playfully nipped at my ear. The sting pulled me back. He pressed on, "Where'd she kiss you?" I remembered Tina's earlier comment. Fortified with amusement, I tweaked him, "Just my face." "That night," honey echoed countless times, wrapping up the night. The next morning, I stared at those red patches on my face in the mirror. Lost for words. On the way to the filming location for Because of You, I wore a mask the whole way. Covered up real good. Steven handed me a cup of hot water. "Drink more, it's good for a cold." No idea how this kid manages to stick around Tim. When we got to the set, pretty much everyone was there. Out of the 7 guests, we were one of 2 pairs. The 3 others came solo. All familiar faces. After quick introductions, the crew announced today's first challenge. Whoever hits peak heart rate first has to show screenshots of their last chat. As soon as it was said, the room just groaned. "You can't be serious, director. That's way too much for the first challenge." One reason this show is a hit is because it's super real. They don't overpackage the guests, so people come well prepared. I thought about the last person I texted, Tina. Jumped up right away. No way. Friends' texts are off limits. They strapped electronic watches on us to track heart rates. Tim folded his arms, watching me like he was sure I'd lose. I took a deep breath, stood on tiptoe, and covered his ears with my hands. Looked up at him. His eyes were twinkling with laughter as he looked back. Kind of shiny. He turned the tables and covered my ears too. I paused but leaned in to kiss him anyway. Silence all around us, the only sound was the kiss and his heavy breathing. Tim's pupils got a bit bigger, like he wasn't expecting me to be this bold in front of everyone. Beep. Beep. The device alerted us that his heart rate was too high. Perfect. Tim's heart rate spiked. The crew, all smiles, looked at him. "Tim, come on." Tim sighed, embarrassed and frustrated, took off the watch, and pulled out his phone. From my angle, his whole ear looked red. He had been chatting with me recently, but I was confused by the name he saved me under, Blue. The crew opened the chat, it was just everyday stuff. Tim stopped them from scrolling further. "What's above isn't broadcast friendly, better not look." Just saying. Silence from me again. Once all teams finished, they introduced the second challenge. Find a place to stay for the night, first come, first served. Guests could team up. The other pair had already headed out. As Tim and I moved to go, we got stopped. "Sandy, mind if I team up with you?" It was Leo, a popular star lately. We'd done a show together before, good-looking, charming, and nice to get along with. I felt awkward, standing there. It was obvious about Tim and me, so why cause trouble? While figuring out how to turn him down, Tim, with a dark look, pulled me close. "Sorry, she's already on my team," he said coldly, wrapping his arm around me. Basically telling Leo to find another corner to cool off in. Not bothering with Leo, Tim didn't spare him a glance, just pulled me forward. Leo, being in the spotlight, wasn't used to getting brushed off, so he came back, stubborn. "Sandy hasn't said anything. How can you decide for her?" Noticed some pressure from the arm around me. I looked up at him and I figured what he was doing. He let go of my shoulder, grabbed my hand openly. Faced everyone and said loud and clear, "First off, I fully respect her choice. She's her own person. Nobody decides for her. Second, married folks don't owe you an explanation," he added, looking at me, a slight smile on his face. "Right, Sandy?" When the episode aired, the internet crashed. IT guys worked overtime fixing it. Tim's words confirmed our marriage. The agency jumped on it, releasing a long prepped statement. Tim and I made posts, thinking we'd see a lot of negative comments. But surprisingly, everyone was into it. Hit after hit on trending topics, all about us. Some fans said things like, "How can you not be happy with this sister-in-law?" And some people's sister-in-law is beautiful, and mine? Even Tim's fans jumped in. Our sister-in-law is gorgeous, makes us proud. And thanks, Sandy, for being lovely and saving this single guy. Our manager saw the good response and set up a joint interview for us. Aside from the interview, we were doing a magazine cover shoot. Tim had his short hair gelled back, looking sharp and serious. In a deep V-black suit, he had every eye on him. The photographer directed us, "Get closer, look intimate." I was in a cobalt blue high-slit dress. Easy to have a mishap. Hearing him, Tim came up behind, wrapped his arms around me. One hand secured my waist, keeping that tricky dress in place. His chin rested on my shoulder, whispering, "My wife's looking mighty fine. Gonna steal a kiss." I nudged him with my elbow, then glanced up just as he looked down. Locked eyes, and in that moment, my heart skipped. The constant sound of camera shutters, perfect, just like that. Afterward, staff checked the screen. Tim kept me in a quiet spot, my back pressed to his chest. Surrounded by distant chatter, everything felt hazy. More aware of his arm around my waist, he started to pull us forward gently. A very out in the open kind of closeness. Passing crew smiled, covering their laughs. I pushed him away, flustered. "Stop it, people are watching." Not letting go, he said softly, "So what? I'm your legal hubby. It's not just a hug I can do." I quickly covered his mouth, motioning for him to stop. "Geez, Tim, keep it together." He nodded, grinning. Released, we just quietly got hitched, no wedding. People probably think we're just contract dating. Tim straightened, squeezed my hand. Serious face. "Don't worry, I'll make sure everyone knows how much I love you." Caught off guard by his seriousness, I fumbled for words. Thankfully, the host called us for the interview, letting me calm down a bit. The interview began. Tim and I sat together, with his hand casually draped over the backrest behind me. The host picked up the cue cards and started asking questions. "Welcome, both of you. Our audience is really curious about your relationship experiences. Can you share a little with everyone?" Tim seemed to remember something and couldn't help but chuckle. Slowly, he spoke, of course. As he talked, I also recalled the first time I met Tim. Back then, I was new to the scene, and Tim was just an unknown rookie. We moved from one filming crew to another every day, seeing where they might need people. Tim and I first met in a small-scale web drama crew. How small, you ask? The whole crew, including the lead actors, totaled less than 10 people. So, at our first meeting, the director took us out for some barbecue. I got caught in traffic and had to walk the last part of the way. When I arrived, the director warmly invited me to sit down. When I saw Tim sitting next to my seat, I was wowed. White shirt, jeans, sneakers. He was the picture of my college boy fantasy. So when Tim offered me a sausage, I didn't refuse. He got so busy that he couldn't focus on the barbecue, constantly grilling sausages. I once asked him why he pursued me. He said, "I've never met someone who could eat 8 sausages in one go." I thought you were fascinating. The room went silent, and someone let out a laugh. Only then did the set turn lively. Even the host was struggling not to laugh. "So Sandy, did you really eat 8 sausages?" I covered my face and admitted it. With that highlight, the questions that followed weren't too tough. Most questions focused on the new drama, and if Tim was confident about winning Best Actor this year. We followed the script and wrapped up. Tim had to hurry back to continue filming. Later that night, Tim video called me. On the other end, he was wearing a plain white t-shirt, his hair down, lying on his bed. His first words were updating me on his schedule. I was filming all day and went out to eat with the crew tonight. Suddenly, he sat up. "Listen," a female actor kept leaning toward me tonight, and I instantly moved away. He rubbed his chin. "Do you think she has feelings for me?" At that moment, I was focused on watching William's new show. I didn't respond to him. Without getting an answer, Tim got anxious and shouted, "Hey, I'm here. At least look at me." I casually replied, "Don't be so full of yourself, not that many people are into you." He Ed, sounding deflated. "I wanted to tell you there's this guy who's acting weird too." I put the fruit platter down abruptly, my voice cracking. "Stay away from him." After some small talk, I mentioned director John, who wanted me to act in a drama. I heard the lead roles were already cast, so director John invited all the main actors to meet. Tim nodded and, with a hint of regret, said, "It's a shame we've only worked together on that one web drama." I remembered that I wasn't originally the lead actress for that show. The role was meant for the director's girlfriend. The director was a freshly graduated college student, fulfilling his girlfriend's acting dream by hiring a handsome actor for her opposite. On the first day of shooting, the girl looked at me for a long while. Before shoving the lead role's costume and script into my hands, she ran away crying. "She looks more like the lead than I do." As Tim and I filmed, we often spotted her crouching to the side. On the day I went to meet John, I woke up early to make a good impression. When John saw me, he couldn't help but smile. With a pleased tone, he welcomed me to sit down. "Sandy, you're early. Come, sit." As soon as I sat, I saw John calling out, "William, Susan, over here." I froze for a moment. Those names weren't unfamiliar. But, weren't they supposed to avoid each other online? Yet I didn't pry further. Director John briefly introduced everyone. Teasing me, "William isn't a stranger, right? He's your man's biggest competition for Best Actor." William and Tim were the same age, starting their careers at about the same time. Even winning similar awards. So both fanbases were eyeing the year-end Best Actor award ferociously. Whoever snagged it would be the youngest Grand Slam Best Actor in film history. At that high-stakes moment, I just smiled and kept quiet. John had initially arranged for the two leads to sit together. But Susan turned and sat next to me. "I'll sit with Sandy." The director cheekily glanced at William, who just smiled and shook his head. "All right, let's look at the script then." By evening, Susan left early for an event, and John finally let us go. Outside, I noticed heavy rain pouring down. Wearing heels, I slipped and started falling backward. Warm, dry hands quickly steadied me. Once I was stable, they let go. "Are you all right?" It was William. I quickly thanked him. "I'm fine, just slipped." Seeing that my driver hadn't arrived, William offered to give me a ride home. Watching the rain getting heavier and knowing other staff were coming along, I accepted the offer. "Thank you, I'd appreciate it." William gave a little smile and opened the car door for me. Once home, I quickly changed out of my damp clothes and took a hot shower. I was about to video call Tim when I got a call from Wendy. She sounded unusually frantic, but relaxed once I said I was home. Then she said, "Stay off the internet for now. You and William were photographed and it's all over the web, accusations of cheating. I've talked with William's agent, statements will be released soon." She paused before adding, "Also, I think Tim already knows. You should talk to him." After hanging up, I tried calling Tim several times but got no reply. Even Steven didn't know where he was. Seeing the rain lighten, I grabbed an umbrella and went to look for him. I found Tim on the curb, a black baseball cap covering his face. His knee had a mud stain, and he gave off a sad vibe, not fitting in with the nearby cheerful college students. So he was easy to spot. Every now and then, someone passing by would stop and snap a photo. To keep us from attracting more attention, I quickly walked over and dragged him away. Tim was squatting there just fine, completely unaware that I'd show up. Feelings I thought were gone came rushing back. His big, teary eyes stared at me. His lips quivered, then he cried. I was both annoyed and amused as I wiped his tears. "Why are you crying?" "William just gave me a ride home, and there were a bunch of people in the car. Also, why didn't you answer my video call?" Tim took a breath and muttered stubbornly, "I wasn't crying, I was just mad." His voice got softer. When I didn't respond, he just let it all out. I tripped. I got mad that I was walking too fast, and my phone fell into a puddle. I'm just mad. I get jealous of women and men too. With that, he clumsily kissed my lips. His words muffled as he kissed me, he said, "I don't care, I want to make it official." That night, a viral post appeared online. The caption read, "These two are so in love, stop worrying, everyone." It was accompanied by a video. The person filming wasn't too far away. You could catch a few clear words occasionally. The clearest part was when Tim said he wanted to make it official. A lot of the comments were teasing. "Blogger, you risk it all posting something this sweet?" "Tim, I'm the real deal." The setting seems like the college where they first met, as people say. "Tim, you really, I'm crying my eyes out." The next time I was with Tim on the same stage was at the end-of-year award ceremony. Tim was the hot favorite for Best Actor that night, getting all the attention. When it was time to announce the Best Actor, the whole room held their breath. All the nominees were shown on the big screen. The show organizers were sly, putting Tim and William together. The presenters kept people on edge. Then, when everyone was tense, they shouted out, "Tim!" Another presenter chimed in, "Let's congratulate Tim, the Best Actor." Tim stood up and slowly walked to the stage. The spotlight followed him, shining on his path forward. After thanking the cast, crew, and fans, Tim turned the topic. "Also, I want to thank the most special person in my life. My wife, Sandy." Somehow, the big screen switched to where I was sitting. I stood there in shock, watching Tim walk towards me. The camera followed us until we both appeared on the big screen. Seeing Tim slowly kneel, my heart raced out of control. Tim pulled a diamond ring from his perfectly tailored suit pocket. Looking up at me, his eyes were full of hope. He spoke with a nervous, trembling voice. "You once asked me what blue meant. I want to say blue stands for because love you every day. Sandy, let's spend every day together from now on. I want to be with you forever." Everyone's eyes were on me. Cheering filled my ears. The organizers timely handed me a microphone. Looking at that sparkling diamond ring, I slowly spoke. "So, how many carats is this ring?" Tim was stunned for a moment, then instinctively replied, 10 carats. Actually, Tim and I already have a pair of wedding rings. But we bought them when we first got married, they were simple. Back then, I jokingly said, "You better buy me a big diamond ring someday, or I might just fly away." I pursed my lips to keep from crying. I reached my hand out to him, "Well, hurry up and put it on me then." That day, under everyone's gaze, we shared a long kiss. Epilogue, I won an award. To play that silly princess well. And to prove myself, I hired 3 acting coaches to teach me in turns. Every day I practiced expressions in front of the mirror, repeatedly rehearsing lines. I even had Tim film me practicing so I could watch and improve. Tim really supported my work. He rehearsed and ran lines with me tirelessly. On the day I won, Tim seemed even happier than I was. When we got home at night, Tim rearranged the shelf in the study where the trophies were. My trophy was placed among a bunch of Best Actor awards in the most prominent spot. Tim snapped a picture and posted it on Facebook. Fans, sharp-eyed as ever, looked for sweet details in the picture. Tim put Sandy's trophy in the middle, his trophies are shoved to the sides. Tim's first trophy is still on the floor, didn't make it to the shelf yet. I angrily kicked him off me, "It's all your fault. I seriously think you did this on purpose." Tim grinned from ear to ear. "Honey, the night is long. Save your energy."